Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you clicked on that video. Today we are going to talk 4 books. First, my 4 recommendations and also my 4 TBR. I'm that kind of person that really likes to read books depending on the season, and it's not about the genre. I mean, yes, a little bit, but it's just also full coded books. Sometimes it's just the cover or just the time where it's taking place. A little bit the genre too, like thrillers, spooky season, that kind of books. So yeah, let's talk about my 4 recommendations for you. Let's talk about thrillers first. That's a genre I really love. That's the genre that made me a reader. I really liked None of This Is True by Lizzie Jewell. This is a very popular book. It's about 2 girls that have the same birthday, and one of them is a podcaster, and the other one wants to be featured in her podcast. At first, they don't know each other, they just meet at a restaurant, I think, and everything gets weird when she starts to talk about her life. I also loved Wrong Time, Wrong Place by Gillian McAllister, I think is her name. I love that book. Also, I don't have the books in my hands right now because all my stuff is in storage. I am in between houses right now, so that's the reason why I don't have my books with me. But all of those books I kept because I always resell and unhaul books I didn't love. But those books I do have. I just don't have them in my hands right now. So Wrong Time, Wrong Place is a book that talks about, how can I explain? This is a mother. She has an 18 years old boy, and one night she's waiting for him to come home, and he's very respectful. He always respects hours and rules at the house, all of that. So she finds it weird that it's midnight already and he's not come home yet. So she stands in front of the window waiting for him because she can see the street. And then she sees him and she's like, okay, perfect, he's here. But there's another person with him and he attacks that person with a knife. So she's seeing her own son stabbing someone. And everything starts here. The police comes, take the boy to the police station, all of that. And then the next morning she wakes up and this is the same day as the day before. And I love that book. That was great. Loved it. Another book I really liked was The Silent Patient. This is also a very popular book. I feel like this is a story of a woman that has spent so many years in like a facility for mental health problems, and she's here because she killed her husband and she never said a word since. She's not speaking. There's a new guy, a new psychiatrist. This new guy wants to make her talk. We are following her story and how it's trying to make her speak. So that was surprising, I would say. I don't remember if I guessed the twist or not, but I think I was surprised. It felt weird for me, but I don't want to say anything. I liked it. My mom loved it. So I think like most people like this book. If you've read this or if you read it in upcoming weeks, just come talk to me about it because I need to talk about this book sometimes. The feeling that you have when you finish it. I also really liked The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This one is perfect for spooky season because at first it also felt like horror a little bit. It's in a mansion that is up on a cliff. There's this woman living there. The story says that she killed her whole family when she was young, and she's the only one left of her family, and she cannot move. She's had a stroke or something and she cannot move. She's stuck in her own body, so she needs someone to take care of. There is this new girl that lost her job, I think, so she needs another job because she made a mistake. She's assigned to that woman. She has to stay at that house, which is a very creepy place. Very weird things happen. So that's the reason why I'm saying it's perfect for the spooky season. So she is trying to communicate with this woman through a typewriter, because she's stuck. So she cannot speak, she cannot move, so she can just do that with her hand to type on the typewriter. So they are communicating this way. And the woman says, I'm going to tell you my story. So that's the premise of it. And I really, really loved that book. That was such a great read. The atmosphere, everything was so, so good. And it fits fall and the spooky season so well. Another thriller I liked, it's not like a twisty kind of thriller, just like Lisa Jewell books, but I really, really liked it. It's I Will Find You by Harlan Coben. I don't know how you say his name. In French, we say Harlan Coben. So Harlan Coben, I don't know, but yeah, I really loved that book. I flew through this book. I was intrigued. I wanted to know so bad. I don't remember exactly what it's about though. I remember it's a man that wakes up with his son's blood on himself, and everybody says his son is dead. He is sure of himself his son is not dead. So years after, I think he's still looking for him. And I think that's the premise of the book, if I'm not wrong. And I remember loving that book. I was eating it up. I loved it. There's another book that is not really a thriller. I think it's kind of a fantasy thriller, something like that. It's called House of Hollow. This one is perfect for spooky season, like it fits Halloween. This is about three sisters. When they were younger, they disappeared for a month, and none of them remembers what happened this month of disappearance. And now they are all almost adults. The youngest is like 16 or something like that, and the oldest is 20-ish years old, and she disappeared again. So the two remaining sisters are trying to find out what's going on. And you have to know that when they came back from that month of disappearance when they were younger, they came back physically a little bit different. And they have those little abilities, weird abilities. That's the blurb of the book, and that was such a great read. That's very unusual, I would say, and I really, really liked it. Another book that I really, really love, it's more like sci-fi, I would say, thriller, sci-fi thriller, is called Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I cannot remember exactly. I think there's a man that is abducted. When he wakes up, his life is not like it was. His wife is not his wife. The people he knows don't recognize him. And also, the job he was doing, I think it was a scientist. Nobody believes him when he says that's his job. Crazy story. I really, really liked it. Okay, Ashley Poston wrote two books I think fit the season quite well. There's always magical realism in her books, and I think that's great, and I love everything she writes. So the first one I read was The 7 Year Slip. It's the story of a girl that inherits an apartment from her auntie, I think. And this apartment is magical in the sense of the place can put you 7 years in the future or 7 years in the past. But if you go out of this apartment, you're back in your time. It's just like a time capsule in this apartment. And one day she enters the apartment and there's a guy here that lives here. And this guy is 7 years in the past, I think. So that's very funny. And I loved that book. That I think so far this is my favorite by her. I really, 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 really loved it. The second one by her that is perfect for Halloween, the spooky season, is The Dead Romantics. This book is about a romance between a girl and a ghost because she can see ghosts. She have this ability since like birth. I think they knew each other. I think he was her new boss or something like that. She goes back to her hometown because I think her dad just died, and she at the same time sees that ghost here all the time. And yeah, I think it talks about grief a lot, but it's still a romance, and I loved it. One book that fits Halloween perfectly is Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young, that I have here. I have it here. I just read this in September and I really liked it. I say this book fits the season just because they meet on Halloween night. That's the only reason this fits this season, because it's a romance. There's the pregnancy trope in this book, and also disability representation for both of them. And yeah, I love that book. It was such a beautiful story, like very green flag kind of MMC. I just love them so much together. So yeah, this is perfect for fall, I think. I also feel like some of Rebecca Yarros's romances are perfect for fall. For example, The Last Letter. This is the story of a woman that is a single mom of two children, and her brother just died at war. I think her brother asked another soldier to take care of his sister if something happened to him. So this soldier is sending letters to her. One day they meet, but I think he don't say it was him in the letters or something like that. So that was very sad. You have to know that. And I love that book, don't get me wrong. But in the end, I felt like it was just too sad. I love sad books. I mean, I love to cry in romance books, in books in general. But I felt like this one was just like the author wanted to add sadness on sadness, and it felt maybe a little too much for one story. You know what I mean? But it still was great, and I feel like it fits the season very well. The second book by her that fits the season is The Things We Live Unfinished. I love that book. We have two love stories and two times. We have the war and the now. The now is the girl that wants to finish her grandmother's manuscript, I think. She meets the guy that is going to help write that book. At the same time, you have the story of the book, which is her grandmother's story and love story that took place during the war. That was such a great book. At first I wasn't sure. I was like, okay, not bad, but don't see the point here. And then I was like, oh my god, loved it. Loved it. Like, I think that's my favorite book by Rebecca Yarros so far. So just read it. Okay, let's talk about fantasy. I have here the third book on the Assistant to the Villain trilogy, and I think it's a trilogy. Maybe there's gonna be a fourth book, I don't know. But Assistant to the Villain, perfect for the season. I just loved it. The first one is about this girl that just lost her job and she's running in the forest because she's trying to escape her boss. And she runs into this guy that is running from something too. And she realizes that this guy is the villain. The villain is a guy that no one knows what he looks like, but everyone is terrified of him. They hide together in the forest for a couple minutes, and he offers her a job to be his assistant. And it's very funny, very refreshing, very entertaining, and I loved that book. Also, you have Divine Rivals. I haven't read the second book yet, so that might be good. I should read that book maybe for fall. So a boy and a girl that are rivaled at work. They are journalists, and I think the war starts with gods. I think they're gonna talk with each other through a typewriter, but a magical one that can send the letter just typing it. It's sent to the person, and I think she doesn't know it's him that received the letters, because at first she wanted to write to her brother. I'm not a big fantasy girl, but this one I really really loved it. And I think same, it wasn't like heavy fantasy, it's a romantasy, very beautiful. I loved it, but I have to continue the series. I have to read book 2. I also really liked Half a Soul. It's Regency but fantasy. This is a story of a girl. When she was younger, someone took half her soul. So literally, she has half a soul. So many emotions, feelings she doesn't feel, she doesn't have. So everyone thinks she's weird. And now she's at that age where you have to go out to find a husband, and how it's gonna be so hard to find one lacking half a soul. And that was so great. I loved the characters. It was not heavy fantasy, it was like cozy fantasy, and it was so good, so refreshing. I really really loved that story. I should continue with this series because I think it's a series. I think there are 3 books, something like that, and I really should just continue because I really liked it. I really loved Bride. I don't know. I just loved that book. I know not everyone loved it for many reasons that I can understand, but I really, really enjoyed that book. I think it's the story of a vampire girl that is kind of sold to the werewolves because there's a political agreement. So she has to marry the alpha guy of the werewolf society. And so it's like forced marriage and forced proximity and all of that. And that was so good. I love that book. And there is book 2 that is coming soon, like October 7th, that is called Mate. Can't wait to read that one. 2 other books that are not really fantasy, I think, but I don't know where to put them. One is They Both Die at the End. I loved that book. I cried all along, and I have book 2 in here, which is called The First to Die at the End. It's the second book of the series, but it takes place before. It's a prequel, I think we say. This takes place in a world where you have an entity that knows when you're gonna die. The last day of your life, you're gonna have a call that says, hello, today is your day, you're gonna die. Bye. And you don't even know how and when exactly you're gonna die. You just know today is the last day. And in the first book, it's 2 guys, 2 teenagers that don't know each other, and they receive the call. And because they don't want to be alone for their last day on Earth, there's an app to meet people that had the call. So they meet thanks to this app, and they spend their last day together. And that was heartbreaking. And I loved how this book talks about death, yes, but it talks more about life. And I loved it. I just recommend it so bad. Just read it. Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. It's perfect for the season. It takes place in Edinburgh, I think, and this is a girl that is passionate about medicine and science, but at the time you couldn't be a woman and be passionate about that. She's gonna have an alliance with a poor boy. This guy works for the scientists. He digs out bodies for them to study on, so he's gonna help her work on those bodies, and so many things are gonna happen. And that was such a cool book. I really really liked it. I didn't read book 2 yet. As I said, I'm not a big series girl, but I have to read book 2. I think I might really like it too. I really liked The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This book was hard, honestly. This talks about World War II, and this is the story of 2 sisters and what path they took during that war. And that was heartbreaking and beautiful, and I really loved how Kristen Hanna did research and all of that. That was very moving. And yeah, and also that was interesting because this is not from the point of view of Auschwitz or Jewish people, because I read many, many books about that period of time, always from the point of view of someone that goes to the working and extermination camps. And in this case, it's not that. And I really like that aspect of the book too. It's just different and it was beautiful. In the same theme, I really like The Midwife of Auschwitz. And this time, this is a woman that goes to Auschwitz as a midwife, and that is going to help women in there to have their babies. And that was horrible, but again, moving story, very, very important story too, because this is based on true events. The last book for historical fiction is one that is called Between Shades of Grey. I read that one quite a while ago and I remember loving it. I just can't remember exactly what it talked about. And I feel bad about that, but I remember loving this book. And I think it was a period of time very unknown for me. And I cannot remember exactly. I will tell you somewhere here the main plot of that book and the period of time where it takes place. So yeah, that's all for my 4 recommendations. Tell me if you've read any of those or if you have any other recommendations for me. I want to know everything you've read that could fit that season. But I have my own full TBR that I think is quite full already. And I'm gonna show you the books without talking too much, without telling you the plot or anything, because I think it's gonna be so long. I am currently reading Pines by Blake Crouch. This is the first book in the Wayward Pines series. I also have Accomplice to the Villain, which is book 3 in the Assistant to the Villain series. In the Weeds by B.K. Borison, which is a romance. I have Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen, which is romantasy. I have book 2 in the Wild series called Wild at Heart by K.A. Tucker. It's also a romance. I don't really know if this one is full coded. You have to tell me. Done and Dusted by Lala Sage, cowboy romance. So I don't know if it's like a full coded book or not. No idea. I have The Woman by Kristen Hanna. This is historical fiction. I am intimidated by this book, but I think I'm gonna love it. I have a French thriller, which is called A Retardement. I also have The Invisible Life of Adele Roux by V.E. Schwab, Babel by R.F. Kuang, book 2 in the Prison Healer series, which is called The Gilded Cage, The Last Word by Taylor Adams, which is a thriller, The First to Die at the End, as I said earlier, by Adam Silvera, 10 minutes and 38 seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak. Don't know what genre this is. No idea. Think Twice by Holland Coben, The Retreat by Sarah Pierce, Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. And I think that's it for my full TBR. And I'm kind of excited for the season and for the spooky season too. And I can't wait, honestly. And I also can't wait for Christmassy book, but we have a little bit of time. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.